Hey guys, it's Joey ValueTCG. Hope everyone's having a good day, a good week. I personally can't believe it's already 2025. I was kind of thinking about how when I got into the hobby and, it was right around the COVID era and people were just going crazy for cards and prices were all over the place for at least at that point Pokemon and some of the other hobbies. And it's already been nearly 5 years since that era, and it just seems like, as crazy as it seems like we're right back to that craziness of that era. And, I just wanted to make a video today about if you're thinking about buying into One Piece, right? You love One Piece, the IP, you love the cards, the beauty of One Piece. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about how to think about investing into this space, right? What should you think about when prices are all over the place, they're exploding or dropping? How do you, as someone who participates in this, who's made a financial contribution, a financial investment into this space, how do you think about these things when there's so much optimism and really the flip side of that coin is pessimism? What do you do during this era? So I wanted to make a video about that today. My next video will be about booster box prices. I believe that's what I think I want to make for the next video. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. And also, I will be announcing the giveaway winner for my uh, first anniversary or 1 year anniversary of the ValueTCG channel. So I will be announcing 2 winners there. So if you have not entered into the giveaway, go to the video, not this prior video, but the video before that, the one that's titled, giveaway for 1 year channel anniversary, something like that. Make sure you leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. That gets you entry into the giveaway. I'm giving away about $75 of items to 2 people, right? So $75 each. It might be actually a little bit more than that, but definitely take a look. Do not miss out. This is probably going to be one of my biggest giveaways. I just wanted to really celebrate my 1 year channel anniversary. Um, so thank you for those of you who have already entered into the giveaway and have subbed. So anyways, now I'm going to talk about what I said at the beginning of the video, but before I do that, please like, comment, and subscribe as well. If you haven't already, I know a lot of you guys do watch this on a, couple of times a week basis, whatever that cadence is of, my videos I do put out. So I appreciate everybody's support. So yeah, let's talk about this volatility, this newfound volatility that we're really seeing in One Piece and in Pokemon and in Magic, right? So let's kind of talk about first and foremost OP01, right? OP01, I do want to just mention this as a starting point. This is a booster box that, just look at this. In October, end of October, this is a booster box that was selling close to $200. We're back up to 300, and if you look, the supply out there is very, very light. So if Jin Buns, if Mr. Buns over here sells the very last one that is a non-gold star seller, this jumps up to 345 and 350, and we have a little bit of supply there, and beyond that it could go all the way up to 400, right? So we're seeing really accelerated price growth, not just in One Piece. We're seeing it here definitely, but we're also seeing it in Pokemon. We're seeing it in Magic the Gathering. So like, how should you think about this, right? And the best way I could really equate what's happening is I want to give you a juxtaposition of how people invest into stocks, right? A very quick giveaway, a very quick overview. So how do people invest into stocks, right? So people, when they look at stocks and what they can kind of hang their hat on, if you will, is what is considered the cash flow of the company. We're not going to go into this chart, all these complex numbers, but let's just say we're talking about Lululemon, right? Lululemon, you know, if you're a big fan, and I know a lot of folks out there are big fans, and you've done a lot of research yourself about Lululemon pants, right? This guy, Dr. Mike, it looks like he's doing a ton of research on Lululemon pants, and maybe they're dangerous, maybe they're not, and if you kind of look around, it's like, oh wow, like Fashion Network, I mean, with this picture, we're also kind of doing some primary research, some overview of some research into Lululemon today. It's like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe the pants are really, really good. That's a really good picture here. Wow, another great picture. So you're doing all this work, and you plug all the numbers into your Excel sheet, and you pump your model in, and the discounted cash flow number comes out to, oh, I think the per share basis should be 154, when the current share price is 136, right? And actually, neither of these are true. This is actually for another company, but I wanted to just illustrate how people think about it in the investment world. So, if you look at Lululemon's price, and you're like, oh, it's 400. What the heck's Joey talking about when he's saying it's $136 a share? That's not what I'm not actually. This is not the Lululemon Excel file. So, but I just want to talk about it here. It's like, oh, you run it through your spreadsheet, and then you're like, oh, I think I can get to 13% growth on my investment on an annual basis because of all the cash flows, right? They're, selling all these pants to all these women, and the U.S. and Europe and Asia and whatnot. And you're like, this is awesome. I'm gonna buy the stock. So that means that there is something that we call in the business intrinsic value, right? Intrinsic value in investing. So when you do all this work on a company, and you get to this awesome thesis, like you look at this, and this is like, you're like, my thesis is rock solid. I'm gonna pitch an investment, and I'm gonna put a lot of money to work buying the stock. And you're like, I think I'm gonna make 13% a year. You make that investment. Well, when I guess share prices fall, right? You think it's worth $167 a share, but when share prices fall, so instead of 135, it falls down to $80 a share. Well, at $80 a share, your discount to fair value actually goes higher. So you're like, well, maybe I'm going to buy more, because I know this is a business that generates a ton and ton and ton of cash flows. They sell all these beautiful booty pants, and then you make a lot of money on top, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to make even more money off this investment. And then if it works out, you make a ton of money, right? So what about investing in or buying these beautiful boxes of One Piece cards, right? What do you think when you buy this and this comes to your house, what do you think the cash flows that you'll ultimately generate from this box, right? And if your answer is absolutely nothing, you're pretty much correct, right? Because the only way that you make money by buying this booster box is someone else out there is willing to pay a higher price for it. And we've seen that in One Piece, there's a lot of fluctuation. So if we just kind of draw back this, look, right? When this was listed, this is 234. It went down, like I said earlier, to under 200. Before this, you don't have the prices here, but before this was a $500, $600, $700 booster box before the reprint came, right? So when the reprint came, prices came down, and if you wanted to sell, if you bought at 600 or 500, and now it's sitting at $200, you're feeling not so good about yourself, right? And in those instances, right, the human psyche always tells you the worst things, right? When when the market's moving against you, you're actually more likely to sell at the very, very bottom than at the very, very top, right? So that's what happens. And that typically really, really manifests itself in the TCG space because, like I said, there are no cash flows behind this. So you're just betting on the popularity of One Piece and whether that drives in more players. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a minute here. But I do want to say that, just put a finer point, you can't eat cardboard, right? If the recession hits, everything hits the fan, what can you do when people are struggling to pay their bills, struggling to eat? We saw a little bit of that in 2008, 2009. It really wasn't that intense, but it was a pretty bad recession. But that's why houses were being sold at that point for half price, because you can't eat a house. You can always downsize the house, but you can't eat the house, right? And if no one's renting from you, you're not generating any income. So you can't eat cardboard is what I'm trying to get at, right? Maybe you can. I did, I guess I did go to elementary school with a kid that ate paper. I don't think it did anything to his or to his guts, but he did eat paper. It was kind of weird, but you know what? I'm sure he's fine. But you can't really eat cardboard. I think largely it just digests, or it's a lot of fiber, so it might stuff you up a little bit in your tummy area. But largely you can't eat cardboard. There's no nutrients in it, right? So when people start exiting the hobby, and it's always going to happen. That is going to happen to One Piece. We saw it in the middle of this year when, prices dropped. A lot of people just sold everything and left the hobby, right? Because they were in it for the money. They were not in it for the collection. They were not in it because they love One Piece. They were just in it because they want to make, some money within the volatility. So when that happens, prices do drop precipitously. It drops very, very quickly because this is ultimately what we call in the business a liquid asset. That just means that, when you really, really, really want to move it, it's a physical asset, right? You have to deliver it to somebody. There has to be someone out there that's willing to buy. So if the market starts falling off a cliff and less and less people are out there looking to buy, because in these situations, it's not like, Warren Buffett says always, be greedy when the market's scared. That's not what happens generally to human nature. People just sell. People dump at the bottom, and it is really, really painful for people to do that, because long term they might lose a lot of money, right? What I'm trying to say here is people are going to exit the hobby, and they are going to sell this product, and they are going to create an opportunity, if you want to buy at that point, to buy. But largely, a lot of people are going to sell and exit the hobby, right? Now, what I also want to talk about is in these situations, right? Whether times are good or times are bad, who should you listen to, right? Should you listen to, I guess, Rudolph from Alpha Beta Investments? Should you listen to, I don't know, Johnny Phantom? Johnny P from the Fan Clan? Should you listen to Twice Baked John? Gosh, I'm not spelling. Baked. Twice Baked John, right? Who should you listen to, right? Because Rudolph, if theoretically he had a YouTube channel, he's out there talking about maybe you should always buy. Just don't listen to the haters. You should always, always buy, right? And don't buy anything else. Just buy Magic products, okay? Maybe Pokemon. Johnny P, I mean, he's always just talking about prices, right? Like prices go up, prices go down, and it's crazy. He gets a lot of views, but I don't know if he's telling you to buy or sell. So at least that's good. And Twice Baked John, I don't know what he's talking about. He's like his takes are just weird. But a lot of people listen to him. A lot of people watch his videos. And I would just say, like, who should you listen to? Should you listen to Value BCG? Jeffy from Value BCG. Should you listen to that to him? Maybe, maybe not, because who is he at the end of the day, right? He's just another YouTuber. So who should you listen to? And I think ultimately it's really, really going to be very hard for you to decide when you're getting into this hobby what you should buy, how much you should buy, and at what price you should buy, and when do you sell, right? I would say that, Value BCG, he'll buy a case and he'll sell parts of those cases as prices go up. That's just his move, right? And that's totally, I mean, that's what he wants to do, and it might be right, it might be wrong. He might, hold a couple for the long-term collection. This is my desk or his desk. Oops. And this is where the collection goes, right? And selling some of these when prices go up definitely pays for this. So maybe you could do that. Maybe you could do something else. It's really ultimately up to you. It's up to your risk appetite. It comes down to how much volatility you can stomach at the very end of the day. And I would say if you've historically have been known to buy shares of stock at the highs and sell at the bottom, or buy Bitcoin at the high at the bottom, don't get into this game and buy a ton of inventory, because there's always going to be a lot of fluctuation. Now let's move on, right? How do prices go up in TCGs? And it's really, I think, very simple. Supply. The more the supply there's out there, the lower demand slash price. The lower the price, right? And the higher or the lower the supply, if you look at this, oftentimes demand goes up and price goes up. This is the crazy thing about, I guess, human psychology, right? There's this rarity complex that's built into all of us. If, everyone's buying tulips, this is not a very good picture, but if everybody's buying tulips in, say, circa, 1600s Netherlands, and they did, by the way, back in the day, people traded single tulips for homes, for houses, right? Because people thought that, this was going to maintain rarity forever. It was going to be crazy. Yeah, tulips, flowers. They traded a whole house, right? A whole house for a single tulip. And I think that there were also like some cattle and some other crap in there too. But like it was crazy. It was a crazy time because demand was really, really high, and price was really, really high because supply was low. Because you had supply was low, and I should also say supply is relative to the players, right? To the participants. If there's a ton of participants here, right, supply organically deteriorates relative to the amount of items that are out there. And this is what happens, right? So this is what happens when TCGs start getting hot. You have new players. New. So these three guys are the new players, right? So You have Jimmy, you have Timmy, you have Rudolfo. They go to a store, they go to the One Piece store, Pokemon store, whatever, and they can't find supply. So no OP01 to 09. So it doesn't exist. Everyone's sold out. So what do? They go to TCG Player, right? They go to TCG Player, they go to eBay, and they start buying whatever's available. And that's what ultimately drives this price. I mean, you guys probably know that, right? But I think this is the only real, I guess, driver for price in TCGs. And it is the only way that when these guys get in, right, you can sell these booster box prices at a higher price. And this is the time when the market gets the most liquid, right? There's the most participants in this. And you can sell it the fastest, right? So this is what happens. And why are prices going up right now? Well, Jimmy, Timmy, and Rudolfo, they all got a bonus check. Bonus. They did a good job this year. They all got a bonus check, or their wife bought them for Xmas present, Xmas, or most importantly, I didn't really recognize this until I joined the investment industry, but tax refunds. This is the biggest one-day growth of savings, of income, of discretionary dollars for most people in the United States. It's tax refund, right? Tax day. Taxman is kind to you this day. So they're going to take that money and they're going straight to TCG Player and eBay and all these other places. That's why around the end of the year, the market is always the best. So that's why I think prices are going up right now. Do not be completely blown away if by the middle of this year, prices go right back down. Or maybe if this goes up to $400, and I think it could, because they have stopped reprinting this, right? You see it go up to $400 and then it drops right down to $300, right? By the middle of the year. And then maybe by the next year, it goes up and down and up and down. But ultimately, what really makes this whole market work is if you have these new players coming in, right? This is the most important thing, right? So if you want to get into One Piece, Pokemon, whatever, you have to be very, very sure that this new amount of players are going to get into the hobby. Pokemon, you'll always have new players, right? Kids are taking kids today are going to take their kids in 20 years to play Pokemon. That's the magic of Pokemon, right? Magic cards, less so, right? It's a much more complex game. It's, that's why a lot of the money is it's not with us, really. It's Rudolfo, right? Rudolph. He has a lot of the money that's gone into the game and he's making money from that, right? It's less the new players. It's not really the new for Magic. For One Piece, we don't know. For One Piece, I think there's going to be a lot of people that will continue to get into the card game. I think there's going to be a lot of new participants over time as the manga continues, the anime continues, right? I know people are like, well, One Piece might end soon. Well, I mean, they said that about Naruto, and now there's Naruto, Boruto, right? Like that continued the universe, and I think original ideas are really hard to come by these days. For something as successful as One Piece, I think they'll probably, more than likely continue this universe even beyond this initial phase of One Piece ends. That's my belief, at least. And I think lastly, I had a comment about this, that I was talking about Pokemon and how there's manipulation within the market and maybe some hype as well. And there was a comment from somebody that said, Joey, you're a freaking idiot. Like, you don't know whether you're entirely mischaracterizing hype and manipulation. It's not hype, it is manipulation, or it's not manipulation, it's hype. One of the other ones. I kind of forgot what the comment said. But I just want to say that it is really, really very much possible that this is both. when markets are as frothy like this and things are going straight to the, this is the moon. Well, this looks more like the sun, so maybe like the moon, right? Going straight to the moon. It's going to be both because there's hype, right? And I take Tesla as an example. Tesla, there's total hype in the stock. People really believe in Elon Musk, rightfully or wrongfully. People really like that, right? They buy a car and they're blown away because they've never had a slightly self-driving car before. And they're like, this is the future. I believe in Elon, right? And then when you have this crazy acceleration that happens, right? This huge acceleration that happens right here, there's also manipulation, right? There's manipulation in that there's plenty of stock market participants, hedge funds, and people who are YOLO trading, who are buying options. They're getting in on this momentum. They don't believe in Elon. They don't care about Elon. They don't care about Tesla. They don't even care about how many cars they sell, right? But they are participating in this market because, well, there's money to be made. So there is, and whenever they're buying stocks here, it's going to pump the stock price higher and it gets into the hype train again, and people get more excited, more people participate, and more manipulators participate, and it becomes this cyclical thing of, this goes into that and this goes into that, and we're right back to the moon analogy, right? The price goes to the moon. So this is very, very relevant in card collecting today, and I think it's just something that everybody should be very aware of, because it is something that happens on a consistent basis. I've been part of this world for the last 4 or 5 years now. I think it's an absolutely awesome world, especially since I can entirely resonate with the IP that we see here, right? With One Piece, with Pokemon, with some of the other Bandai franchises. I absolutely love these IPs, but I am very, very cognizant that there's tons of manipulation that happens. Some of that's hype, some of that's pure manipulation, and I think it's just something that I want you guys to be aware of as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. What do you guys think, right? Do you think you can eat cardboard? Have you ever tried it? I haven't, but let me know if the sandwich looks good. Or do you think, if these guys if these PokeTubers or card tubers like Rudolph or Johnny P or Twice Baked John or ValueTCG, these guys are, you know, some people that you listen to. What do you think of these guys, right? And do you think this franchise is sustainable? I mean, I think ultimately, as a participant in One Piece myself, I want to know what you guys think, right? Do you guys think this One Piece is going to be the new Pokemon, right? Like, do you think it's going to be more like Magic, where you have this very loyal established base of players, but not that many new players are coming into it, right? Or do you think it's going to be like Dragon Ball, where demand falls off the cliff and supply is still very high, so no one wants to participate, right? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you want to ever buy a tulip by trading in your house? So let me know. Thanks, guys, and like, comment, subscribe the video, and I will talk to you guys next time.